Hi, third graders. It is Miss Dale. Welcome back. I hope you had an awesome break. Today is Thursday, and we are going to talk about sentence structure. We're going to do that for 2 days, talk about sentence structure. And we're going to start with dialogue. You guys should already be familiar with the word dialogue, but we're going to go over it using a very funny, awesome book that I love. So, using dialogue is just one way to bring a story to life. It changes the flow and structure of the way the story is told. And today we're going to learn about dialogue or review dialogue by reading The Great Fuzz Frenzy by Janet Stevens and Susan Stevens Cramell. As we know, dialogue represents the words that characters say in a story. Writers use quotation marks, right? Quotation marks to show what each character says. Before we start the book, I want to go over something really quick. So when we're punctuating dialogue, I know you can't really see this very well, but writers use quotation marks to show exactly the words a character say. The exact word the character says, excuse me. And so it's just those quotation marks. These quotation marks are just around what the character says. So they place an open quotation mark immediately before the first word the character says. So right before the word run. So what the character is saying is run for your life. So the first quotation mark goes before the first word, and then a closing quotation mark immediately after the end mark that comes after the last word. So notice run for your life has an exclamation point and then the closing quotation. When a new character starts speaking, writers use a new paragraph and give the new character's words quotation marks as well. So if the first character says, watch out below, and the next says, run for your life, they're on a totally different line, a new paragraph. To identify the speaker, writers put a comma and a close quotation mark after the speaker's last word, and then they identify the speaker. So, run for your life, the prairie dog said, and notice how the prairie dog said does not have quotation marks. If writers are not using the character's exact words, no quotation marks are needed. So if the author said the prairie dog told his friends to run, you wouldn't need any quotation marks. In The Great Fuzz Frenzy, the authors use dialogue to tell how a group of prairie dogs reacts when a strange, round, fuzzy thing falls into their hole. What do you think it is? That strange, yellow, fuzzy thing. Of course, we all know that prairie dogs can't really talk, but in fiction stories like this one, prairie dogs can talk as much as the authors want them to. And boy, can these prairie dogs talk. As we read this book, notice how the authors use dialogue to show the prairie dog's feelings. Listen to how the dialogue sounds like real people talking. Again, it's fiction, right? Notice how the structure of sentences that include dialogue changes the flow and pace of the story. Finally, notice how punctuation and quotation marks are used when one character stops talking and another starts. All right, let's read this book. So there's that opening page of the story, and these are prairie dogs, and that's a real dog. The Great Fuzz Frenzy. All right, I know this is sideways, but down it went. Bonk, boink, run for your life. Thump, thump. Notice some quotation marks. And that is a tennis ball that the dog dropped. Plunk. There it sat, perfectly still. The prairie dogs waited, perfectly still. Slowly they crept out, inch by inch, dog by dog. What is it? A thing? A good thing or a bad thing? A round thing, a strange thing, a scary thing. What should we do? Don't touch it. Is it alive? Shh. So the authors aren't saying exactly who was saying it, but it looks like the quotation marks, the quote, is near whichever prairie dog is saying it. Maybe. I'm not sure. "Stand back!" boomed a voice. "You act like gutless groundhogs afraid of your own shadow." "Oh no, it's Big Bark." "Big Mouth is more like it. He's the meanest dog around. I thought he left town." "Well, I'm back," growled Big Bark, "so out of my way. Let me have a look." So I'm thinking that the main character might be Big Bark, because they are actually saying who is. They said, "Well, I'm back," growled Big Bark, but the other quotation marks are not, it doesn't specify which character is saying. But before anyone could move, little Pipsqueak raced past Big Bark, reached out, and poked the big brown thing. "No!" the crowd yelled. "It's Fuzzy," said Pip. "Oh!" the crowd gasped. A tiny piece of fuzz was caught in Pip's claw. She looked at it, turned it, sniffed it, then she put it on her head. "Look at me!" "Ah!" the crowd sighed. "Quit hamming it up, you half-pint hamster!" snarled Big Bark. "I'm in charge." But those prairie dogs didn't listen. They had to have Fuzz. "I like it. Me too. I want some. Do you?" "Oh, yes, so do I. So do we. So do they." Big Bark, move over. Get out of our way. They charged past him and grabbed at the Fuzz. News of the Fuzz. Sorry, I can't read it. So I have to go like this with my head. News of the Fuzz spread from hole to hole, burrow to burrow, town to town. Soon prairie dogs from everywhere were coming to see the Fuzz. They came, they saw, they picked. They picked and pruned and pulled and pinched. They pinched and pulled and pruned and picked. That big round thing was fuzzless. Oops, until the Fuzz ran out. That big round thing was fuzzless, naked as a plucked chicken. Some prairie dogs got a lot of Fuzz. Some got a little. Some got no Fuzz at all. And they were mad. "Give me that Fuzz." "Why?" "Because it's my Fuzz." "Well, it was. Get that Fuzz." "Get that Fuzz." They twirled it, braided it, danced and paraded it. It was a Fuzz frenzy, a Fuzz fiesta, a Fuzz fandango. The whole prairie was abuzz about Fuzz. The prairie dogs pulled it, puffed it, stretched it, fluffed it, tugged it, twirled it, spiked it, swirled it. They fuzzed their ears, their heads, their noses. They fuzzed their feet, their tails, their toes. As Big Bark was beside himself. "Listen to me, you ridiculous rodents. Stop this fuzzy foolishness." Pulling, grabbing, swiping, nabbing, poking, jabbing, it was a war between the Fuzzes and the Fuzz Knots. Their peaceful town was a battleground. It was a Fuzz fight, a Fuzz feud, a Fuzz fiasco. "I started this," moaned Pipsqueak. "I have to do something. Everyone, stop fighting." But those prairie dogs didn't listen. The battle raged on, friend against friend, cousin against cousin, dog against dog, until no one was left standing. They were pooped, fuzzled out, fast asleep. Looks like Miss Dale maybe missed a page, but I guess while they were asleep, one of the prairie dogs took all the Fuzz. "I did!" barked a voice from above. "I stole the Fuzz!" The prairie dogs froze. They raced up the long tunnel. There stood Big Bark, covered with Fuzz from head to toe. "I'm king of the Fuzz!" he snarled. "Do you hear me? I'm king of the—" Swoop! The sky went black. "What happened? Where's Big Bark?" "Look!" There he was, high above their heads, dangling from the talons of an eagle. "No more Big Bark!" the crowd cheered. "Yay!" "Don't yay! He's one of us!" yelled Pip. "We have to save him. How would you like to be Eagle's lunch?" "No!" the crowd yelled. "Big Bark, wiggle free!" the prairie dog shouted. "Shake loose! Hurry! We'll catch you!" Big Bark twisted and turned, wormed and squirmed. At last he was free of the Fuzz. "Yay!" the crowd cheered. Big bark fell faster and faster. No! Prairie dogs scattered. Get back here, yelled Pick. Quick! Make a circle, hold out your paws. They ran left, they ran right, they ran left. Plop! You saved me, Big Bark cried, but I stole your fuzz. Now it's gone forever. Good, said Pipsqueak. Fuzz is trouble, right? Yay! The crowd cheered. Friend hugged friend, cousin hugged cousin, dog hugged dog. We don't need Fuzz, said Pip. But with Eagle around, we need a watchdog with a big bark! Big Bark rose up on his hind legs. Eagle's back. Bark! This is not a test. Bark! All dogs below. Bark! Whew! We made it. That was close. 3 cheers for Big Bark, the best watchdog ever. Yip, yip, yay! Yip, yip, yay! Yip, yip, yay! Just doing my job, Big Bark smiled. Are we ever getting tangled up with Fuzz again? Cried Pipsqueak. Pipsqueak. No, the crowd yelled. No more Fuzz. No more Fuzz. And from that day forward, the prairie dogs lived happily and fuzzlessly ever after. The end. Uh-oh. Looks like the dog has a new tennis ball. Okay, so if you notice looking back, there were so many examples of dialogue throughout the whole entire book. So let's review. Oh, first I want to tell you my favorite part is how Big Bark ends up stealing the fuzz and then needs to be rescued. But I also liked that in the end he kind of saved them by being the watchdog. What was your favorite part? So think about what your favorite part was. And let's review really quick. What marks go around dialogue? I know you're at home, but you can still say it to yourself. What marks go around dialogue? Quotation marks. Just like this. Quotation marks. There's 2 little lines. So if you said that to yourself, give your brain some love. What do writers do when one character stops speaking and another starts? What do you think? They go to a new line, right? When a new character starts talking, they skip to the next line, a new paragraph. As you work on your own writing throughout this year, I want you to think about how you can use dialogue to add interest and even humor, because this one was a funny story, and it helped, like the humor of it kind of was because of the dialogue that we were able to hear what the prairie dogs were saying to each other. And so you want to make yours interesting and even funny. So have an awesome rest of your day.